Ohio State and Iowa wrestling this weekend. So Iowa could actually shut out Ohio State if a couple of things go their way. And this is of course, the segment of the show where I like to call the duel of the week, Ohio State versus Iowa. And it should be an interesting segment to discuss because Iowa and Ohio State have recently been Big Ten top dogs. Ohio State's been competing for national titles. Iowa has, over history, been competing for national titles. And some people wonder if Ohio State, if this is kind of a down year for them. Of course, they lost Kirkfleet. A couple guys didn't pan out. But there's still a lot of good things that are going on at Ohio State. And with, they did have the loss on the year so far, an unfortunate loss. But I think they can still bounce back. But can Iowa actually shut them out? Is this possible? Looking at this lineup here, like Spencer Lee, Malik Heinzelman, Austin Santo versus Jordan Cater, Anthony Amendia versus Jaden Ironman. This is going to be quite the duel. But Heinzelman right now, and let's talk about Ohio State's heavy hitters. So first, let's talk about Ohio State's heavy hitters this season. And the first guy to talk about is Malik Heinzelman, undefeated this year, earned his black shirt recently at Ohio State. If you don't know what the black shirt is, these are the elite guys in Ohio State's room. I actually think it's a pretty cool thing. So they have, I believe, red shirts, gray shirts, and black shirts, just pretty much the shirt that you wear to practice in the room. And the black shirts are the elite wrestlers, the Luke Pletchers, the Colin Moores in Ohio State's room. Malik Heinzelman just earned that. And a very soft-spoken guy, number 12 in the country, but avenged 3 losses already this season and is a heavy hitter. But he's at 125 pounds, and that may be a little bit difficult for him to be competing with a Spencer Lee. The next heavy hitter, another black shirt, is Sami Sasso, who's undefeated so far this season. His best win was a pin over Mikey Carr in the cradle. And, of course, guys just don't know that they got to watch out for Sami Sasso's cradle. He's going to cradle you from anywhere. He's going to cradle you, and that's that. He's, of course, a heavy hitter there. Ethan Smith, top 8 in the country, 4-1 so far this year. His loss was to Dan Bronigal, who is undefeated right now. Caleb Romero is a top 5 wrestler, undefeated, but no major wins yet. And then Rocky Jordan. Rocky Jordan is another top wrestler at Ohio State. And he's had kind of a rough start to the year. I still think Rocky Jordan is an All-American contender, but a rough start with losses to Illinois, Rutgers, and Michigan State so far this year. And please let me know how you think Rocky Jordan is going to do. Is he going to rebound at NCAAs? 2-3 right now, top 16 in the country. So let's look at some of these matchups and what I think is going to happen here. Because those are the heavy hitters from Ohio State. Then there's a lot of new guys. So Malik Heinzelman taking on Spencer Lee. Even though Malik Heinzelman's had an exciting year, he's not a match for Spencer Lee, who has already pinned Malik Heinzelman at Midland. He's already pinned him. Already has that bonus point decision over him, and Spencer Lee's just looking better than ever. Sami Sasso versus Max Mirren. I'll tell you what, this is the duel, or this is the match of the duel. This is going to be the best match of the duel. Right now I'm calling it Sami Sasso and Max Mirren. Now, Sasso has had a history with Iowa wrestlers. Of course, going to tiebreaker with Pat Lugo. Lost to Lugo at Big Tens. So he had to win and a loss over him last year. Mirren, so far this season, has had wins over Brock Hardy, Michael Blockus, Mikey Carr. Has been crushing this season, bumping up a weight from 141 to 149 pounds. So how is Max Mirren actually going to do this year is going to be the question. And against Sami Sasso is a real test. If Max Mirren can beat Sami Sasso, holy cow, watch out. That almost like is going to lock up the title for Iowa, who will then have however many number 1 ranked wrestlers. Then Ethan Smith and Alex Marinelli. This should be an interesting matchup. Now, these two have actually wrestled in the past. Now, Marinelli may not actually wrestle this weekend. He was out with COVID symptoms last weekend, or I shouldn't even say that. He was out due to precautions because of that. I don't want to spread anything like that, but due to precautions from the team. So, Marinelli's 2-0 against Ethan Smith. I see that likely going the same way this time. Caleb Romero and Michael Kemmer. This should be another exciting duel. So this should actually be another really exciting duel between these two top 5 ranked wrestlers. Kemmer has the last win, a 6-1 win last year. 2 major decisions. And both these guys on this season, both these guys are actually undefeated so far. So this should be an exciting matchup this year. I expect Kemmer to get the win, but it's good question on what's going to happen there. Rocky Jordan and Nelson Brands. Now, Assad of Iowa had wins over Rocky Jordan last year, and presumably Nelson Brands is better than Abe Assad because he's starting this year. But it's a young matchup, and anything could happen. Maybe this is where Rocky Jordan starts having less of a rocky season and gets back on track to have a better season. Maybe. But Nelson Brands has been looking good. He's been looking real good. And then there's the rest. So, and please let me know who you think is going to win each of those matchups. The rest of these guys, I'm going to talk about Austin DeSanto, who already has bonuses over Jordan Decatur. 2 bonus point victories so far on Decatur. The redshirt freshman. Or the young guy, I should say. Anthony Echemendia, the true freshman. I don't know if he's going to be able to live up to a Jaden Ironman. I'll tell you, Echemendia hasn't been looking bad, but his bottom game's not that strong, even his top game, and that's mostly due to his freestyle and kind of what's been going on with him there. But, is Echemendia able to live up to an Ironman? I just don't see it happening. So what are the last couple of chances that Ohio State has? Well, they have Cleary going up against Caleb Young, who has the last win, 4-1. So it was a close decision, and so that actually could happen again, a close decision. Maybe Cleary pulls it off this time. Number 25, Hoffman, number 24, actually, top 25, against Jacob Warner, who Warner is actually 2-1 this season with a loss to Schultz. Hoffman, 3-2. These two haven't wrestled, and Hoffman did have a close loss to Cam Caffey, who I consider a top dog at 197 pounds. And then at heavyweight, Tate Orndorff and Anthony Cassiope, who have not wrestled yet. Orndorff's best win over Colucci, but lost to Hilger and Luffman, who Cassiope did beat. So it's going to be tough. Like I said, it's going to be difficult for Ohio State to actually pull off even a couple of wins. So what does Iowa need to do to shut out Ohio State? Well, they can shut them out if these things go their way. 1, Alex Marinelli has to wrestle. If he doesn't wrestle at 165, Ohio State's going to get a win there. And maybe they keep him out due to precautions. I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry at these times right now. Better to have him wrestle in the future than right now in a match that doesn't mean a crazy ton. Max Mirren has to find a way to beat Sami Sasso. If he does, then Ohio State may actually get shut out. They get the big old 0, like their Buckeye logo. And the rest of the team must wrestle how they have been. So for those 3 things to happen, if those 3 things do happen, then I think Ohio State can actually get shut out. Do I want them to get shut out? No, I don't want them to get shut out. I want exciting matches. I still think we'll get an exciting duel. I think Ohio State will likely pull off a couple of victories. The score predictions could be 34-3 with kind of what I've talked about, or 31-6 if Marinelli doesn't wrestle. So Ohio State needs to find some ways to get a couple of matches, but Iowa's just been absolutely dominant this season, pretty much shutting guys out, blowing teams out. How do you think Ohio State is going to do against the Iowa Hawkeyes this weekend? If you like this clip and are looking for more wrestling news and discussion, I recommend that you check out the full Fanco Wrestling Show podcast, which is live on this YouTube channel every single week. You can click here to subscribe to be notified of new and upcoming videos, or you can check out the Fanco Wrestling Show on your favorite podcasting platform to listen on the go. Stop stalling and start listening today.